We actually had the LA Times endorse me, and so the media in that sense was good, and that certainly helped, and we used it as much as we could. And I think that was somewhat of a turning point because we saw somebody who was in elected office, my opponent, who had a track record, and here you had two independent outlets effectively say my opponent was just good at winning elections, but doesn't mean it was going to be better at governing. And so it was harder as a female candidate because of the questions you get sometimes. You're set to a different standard. Women give, still today, women still contribute less money to women than they do to men sometimes. And so I think there's a challenge there. There's certainly, for me, I think it was a different dynamic. It was that a lot of people had worked with my colleague, rather with my opponent, and he was promised the seat. You know, he ran for this seat in 2012 and was told, if you drop out of the race, you'll be next in line next time. And that's why you had a rare opportunity in my race where there was only one guy really running. And then after I got in, we were the only two who raised any real money. At the end of the day, you had what you sometimes see is stacking of ballots. You had more women being added to the ballot, more people of color, Latino standing names. Even though none of these people opened a committee to raise money or spend money, it was merely to split the vote. And the strategy worked because in the primary, I only had about 21% of the vote, and he had about 40% of the vote. But when you then looked at the overall numbers, you see where the women were when you combine them, where you saw where Latinos were when you combine them, you saw a very different race.